It's that time of year. Worlds 2017 is finally here. You and I are super excited, watching a ton of games, but these teams are going into what may be the most important games of their lives. And if that wasn't enough stress to manage, the different circumstances they have to face when they attend international tournaments can really impact performance. Remember when C9 seemed a little off at this year's Rift Rivals, or when Bjorksen couldn't shot call properly due to his sickness at Worlds 2016? I'm Amine, War Chief of Science at Mobalytics, and in our last episode, we talked about how players get in the zone so they can perform at their peak. Today, we'll talk about the routines that they set so that they can regularly achieve that state of flow, and what happens to these routines when they go to a tournament like Worlds. Let's compare a pro's normal routine to the disruption that is Worlds. At home, a pro player wakes up at a regular time. They eat their usual meal, maybe grab a workout, then it's scrims and VOD review, and finally they'll wrap up with some downtime, maybe stream a little, and come the weekend, they compete on that familiar LCS stage. But on the road, their time zone and sleep schedule is completely out of whack. They're eating strange foods, their immune system is compromised, and instead of their nightly streams and some relaxing downtime, they're facing the high-pressure competition. Plus, they'll be performing on a bigger and unfamiliar stage. It's utterly exhausting. So how do teams prevent this when they travel to competitions like Worlds? Only the most mentally tough and prepared players can manage to overcome stressful and unfamiliar situations to play their best. Although mental toughness is something that can be trained, it takes time, and teams use a variety of different coping techniques to accelerate the process. If you've never traveled across the ocean, do not underestimate how absolutely miserable it can be. It takes on average a whole day to physiologically adjust for 1 hour time zone difference. China is 14 hours away and should take teams over a week. Most teams this year traveled to Korea early, partly to play against high-quality solo queue players, but the real hidden benefit is the opportunity to adjust to the local time zone, as well as practice getting used to new foods and cultures. Let's talk about your immune system. It's like a fledgling D&D character. It gains experience as it gets exposed to more and more viruses and bacteria, growing in resiliency. When you travel to a new country and get exposed to new types of bacteria and viruses, your immune system behaves like the first time you encounter a beholder in D&D. It has no idea how to fight it, and depending on your overall stats, it's going to be a rough ride. To promote more consistency in terms of higher levels of play, Riot has gone to excruciating lengths to improve conditions at their competitive arenas. Quality control teams are present with the sole purpose of making sure things go smoothly. You'd probably guess that Riot tests audio and equipment for the players, but did you know that they even test if the stage wobbles when someone walks on it? They also test to see if the spotlights in the arena are distracting for the players. They even work to design more sound-resistant stages for the teams. All this allows teams to focus more on the factors inside the rift than the ones outside. But despite all this, it's not always what happens. There's always going to be some level of unfamiliarity for the players, and of course, technical difficulties. The good news is that we are not the first people to encounter such problems. To prepare for travel, athletes from other sports go through Spartan training regimens like depriving themselves of sleep or creating other difficult training scenarios and then forcing themselves to perform. One of the most common examples is athletes simulating low oxygen environments to prepare for competition at higher altitude. The physiological changes at these altitudes are so impactful that mountain-based teams like the Denver Nuggets and a Bolivian soccer team have a massive home field advantage over their opponents. Here's a more fun but yet very real example. Olympic athletes are recommended by some of their coaches and managers to eat McDonald's in foreign countries. Part of the reason why Usain Bolt downed so many nuggets in China was that his stomach disagreed with Chinese food. Although it's not ideal, McDonald's is consistent everywhere in the world. And this is a tactic that has already been adopted by the ever-astute TSM. So, the next time you're watching players on the international stage, put yourself in their shoes and remember all the additional challenges they're facing besides the impending doom that is SKT.
For more league interviews and analysis, subscribe to our channel. You can also find stats, discussions, and more on our website and mobile app at blitzesports.com.